see the process of making soil blocks if you haven't already. And at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and I'll link a video that can kind of walk you through what we did last year. So join me. So what I was able to do, there's a little bit left here, about this much left, but I was able to get this 5-gallon bucket almost sifted through last night. You can see that this material is very airy, very fluffy and airy. So the most important thing you want to do is make sure that your clumps are out, as well as any sticks and larger items, and I don't really have any examples because I sifted through all this, are removed. But this is just beautiful compost that has a lot of the same things that Andy and I put in our soil blocking material last year. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm just going to probably film silently because it's just me today. Okay, so what you see is the same barrel cut in half that Andy did, and he leveraged it with some wooden, with a wooden base over here, and it's nice and sturdy. And I have it on a low pull cart today because that's what I had. I would normally use the back of his truck, but he's not here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started and simply add the compost into the barrel. Okay, so now that I've added that, I'm just going to go ahead and get my hose and get this moist. I'm going to add a little bit of water at a time, and what you want to do is you want to make sure that your soil blocks are pretty wet and that they mold into your hand, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, I've got my seed blocking trays. I can put a link to where we purchase these, and these are great because they're very sturdy and they're dishwasher safe, so you can throw these in the dishwasher afterwards and they clean up nicely. So this is these are trays from Bootstrap Farmer. I'm going to go ahead and get my soil wet. I'm going to probably be cut off here because I don't have anybody operating the camera and it's a little low today. So that I can squeeze it into kind of like a ball, but the issue with that is you want to be able to wring out some water from that. So that's been a good test for us, so I'm just going to keep adding water. Okay, so I have added quite a bit of water here, but I don't know if you can hear, kind of like hitting a little bit of a wet sponge. But what we look for is to be able to squeeze that soil and get water out of it. You see the water dripping? That's what we're looking for. And it might even need a little bit more water, but I like to let that sit on there for about 5 minutes. Okay, it has been about 10 minutes. I just got dirt on my face. And I've got the soil blocker here. And I'm on the other side just so you can see me and see it a little bit better. But this is I think it's a 1.5 inch. Oh, I can't remember. But this was more of the preferred for us because of these trays. We're able to get a total of 6 in here. This soil block just has 5 block starters, but then I can, after I put that in, you'll see how I fill that other side, and maybe you remember that from last year. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and you see how it's got these little divots here, so you're going to have your soil in these blocks, and then when you push down, it's going to poke these divot spaces in your block in order to put your seed in there. So what I like about this barrel that Andy made is the ability to have a wide space, and it's kind of narrow, and then I can kind of bring the soil block tool right up to the soil and kind of give it this like almost rocking back motion to fill that block as full as possible. So have to kind of get into the swing of this again since it's been a year. But even if it doesn't completely fill those blocks, you can simply, put it on there yourself, and then we're just using a trowel from, I think that's like an application for cement, but we're just screeding that off of the blocks as much as possible. And it'll go a lot faster here in a minute. And then you're just going to come over here to your tray, hold it down on there. You're going to have your hands on this handle here and your fingers in this gap, and you're just going to kind of push down and pull up at the same time, making that block like that. And again, this will go a lot faster as I go. Hopefully you can see that. But you can see how it nicely fills in. Look at that. You know you have good soil blocks when they don't fall apart after they come off and roll down the tray. So I think we have mastered the texture desire of these blocks. So I should have done this, so you can see those divots in there. All right, so I'm going to continue through this and load up my tray and see how many soil blocks I can get if I can stay out here with my back and bent over like this, and get these trays loaded up as much as possible. See how much I'm able to get. All right, continuing on. Okay, so we've got 2 more there, and the way you just accomplish that is just grab another row. And this is what I love about this tool that we're using. It's like the perfect width to grab a soil block or 2, which I need 2 of them. So I'm just gonna get underneath there and grab those 2 and take up the full tray. There. Right. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but this one looks pretty nice. So I'm going to put that there and scoot that one over. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on another tray and see how much I can get from this 20-quart bag of the Vermont compost I used. So there we have our seedlings. Not perfect, but it's a good start. Okay, I got a little bit left, you can see, and I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I sift in the rest of this bag. And just to show you what we did last year, so this is a 5-gallon bucket, and it's got a double-lined, kind of crisscrossed piece of mesh, wire mesh, that Andy had stapled. I don't know if you can see that. He stapled that down in there. So yeah, that works really well for a quick sifting. We have a larger sifter that he built that's nice and, you know, long or wide, and I don't know the size of it, but it's wide and it's got a nice square kind of shaking, sifting action over like a bin. But for the sake of being in my driveway at home, I'm just going to go ahead and use this method again. Got a little bit left of the soil, so I'm going to go ahead and add that remaining. And then you can see that I just lift this top bucket out of the bottom bucket like that, and just shake it up and down. You can see those clumps, which is usually like a little bit of sticks and bark and things like that. And see how that sifted in there? You can even lift it up out of there and just kind of, you know, roll around the soil, kind of get it sifted by hand rather than shaking it, and just kind of alternate that in case your arms get tired. how that's almost sifted through. You can see the netting, the mesh down there. I'm going to try and get the most out of this bag of compost. Get my money's worth. Because this bag, I think, was $25. You can get it directly from them. I got mine online. So now that I've got that all sifted, I got my money's worth. This is what I had left over. All of this hard mulch, things that didn't go through. So I sifted that as much as I could to get my money's worth, because this was about $25, I think, $25 to $27. And I got mine, I believe, at Walmart, who shipped it directly to me, and I saved on some fees that I would have had to pay if I went elsewhere. So do your research, see what's the best way of getting it to you if you do want to try this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this dry, fluffy. I call it fluffy because it literally feels very airy and fluffy. But I'm going to go ahead and add it to my wet soil here and add water if I need to. Okay, so I'm in my garage and I wanted to show you that we were able to get probably about 3 or 4 trays of soil blocks, and we got some cold weather out of nowhere. It was like 30 something degrees. So what I've done is I just basically put them inside our little area that we showed you last year that Andy had made, and I'll show you what we got. So hold on. I gotta turn the light on, and I gotta figure out how to do that because Andy is sleeping. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let me turn this around. Okay, so we were able to get 1, 2, 3.5 trays of our seedlings. I have to go ahead and put water on these, get this heat mat on just to get the soil blocks moist again, but also not freezing. So I was not expecting this to happen so quick, but here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start putting seeds in here tomorrow. It is March 21st. It's so funny because it's the first day of spring and we just got this cold weather, which is kind of normal for Georgia. But anyway, I will show you later on in the next video or two how we get our seedlings officially, or our soil blocks officially seeded up and ready to go. But yeah, some of them, they're not perfect, but it's okay. I mean, I'm going to up pot these at some point when they get to a certain growth level. And again, this is our heating mat here. So we'll get that warmed up, and then we use, let's see. Okay, so what we usually do is we'll fill up just a plastic bottle of water, and we'll put a cap here. We have a hole that's cut out and a long tube that comes out of here that gets the water from there, and we'll just simply add it into these crevices in here. Rather than pouring it on top of the seedlings, we'll pour it in the tray. And then the reason that we do that is we don't want our soil blocks to, especially with this weird weather right now, but to freeze on top. So we'll just go ahead and add it in there. I'll probably do it tomorrow morning because, oh yeah, these are still wet because it's so cold out. And it's cool in our garage. But again, just wanted to show you. So we're looking at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 72. And then we have 2 other trays. So 72 times 3 is 316. And then